Hey, how was your day?
Not good.
What, problem with the patient?
Not exactly. The problem is balancing patient care with all of the paperwork and the rules and the requirements. I'm gonna go lay down for an hour. I haven't been sleeping well. I keep having all these strange dreams.
You don't look happy. What's been troubling you?
I keep having these strange dreams.
Tell me about them.
Well, last night I dreamed I was sleeping in my bed, and I wake up and there are these doctors outside my window staring at me and pointing at their watches. I think that I'm dreaming, so I close my eyes and open them up. But they're still there, and I get up and I pull the curtain close, and I guess I'm still dreaming because when I check again, they are still there looking at me, pointing at their watches. That's all I can remember. What do you think it means?
Well, have you been worried about how long your patients wait to see you?
No.
Have you been worried for some reason about the time you spend with your patients?
Well, as you know, time with patients is always a concern, so I don't think that's it. But I do remember getting this memo about short hospital stays. I've been so busy I haven't had time to read it yet.
That could be your problem. I know I can help. Let me summarize the most important parts of short hospital stays.
Great. I could use a clear and concise summary.
The government focuses on observation and one-day stays because there can be differences in payment depending on a patient's status. It's important to remember that while you can decide in advance where the patient should go, you can't decide in advance for how long. By all means, give the family and the patient your best estimate, but as you know all too well, the patient's condition can change.
That's for sure. What role do admission screening tools play?
The admission screening tools should be consulted because Medicare uses them as support for admission. If the treating physician has a different opinion, support it with additional information in the medical record. This documentation also supports your physician services related to the observation or admission.
Well, I certainly want that. Now, what kind of documentation supports admission decisions?
Document the patient's severity of illness, including need for diagnostic tests, any social conditions, comorbidities, and disabilities that may affect your decision to admit.
Okay. How should I word the orders?
Be specific. Don't just state admit or admit to short stay, but rather state admit to inpatient or refer to observation. And again, don't state any time period on the observation order like 24 hours, since it's not known how long the patient will need observation.
Okay, I understand not stating an expected observation time, but what about any special requirements for actual observation time?
Because observation services are billed based on time, the time observation begins and time it ends should be recorded in the medical record. The time begins when the patient is placed in the observation bed and ends when all services related to the observation care are completed, even if this is after the order to discharge or admit is written. The end time may or may not coincide with the discharge or admission.
What about using observation in conjunction with patient procedures?
Standard postoperative monitoring should not be reported as observation care, but rather should be billed as a recovery room service. That being said, the patient's condition before or after surgery may warrant either observation or inpatient admission. Document the reasons for the observation or inpatient admission in the medical record.
Okay.
Patients can go from observation to inpatient at any time, but absent a clerical error, can only go from inpatient to observation prior to discharge. The decision to change a patient's status back to observation should be discussed with utilization review. Ideally, the treating physician and utilization review should agree, but a physician on the utilization review committee can change a patient's status on his or her own. Finally, new orders should be entered into the medical record and the record should reference the review.
That was really helpful. I just hope I can remember it all.
I know, it's a lot to remember, but sometimes the only thing you have to remember is to ask a question.
Great. I think I can remember that. What brings you in today, Mr. Kovacs?
Well, I haven't been feeling right for the past couple of days. I feel dizzy when I get up, and I've got to stick back.
Your blood pressure is high. I'm gonna call the tech in to do an ECG, and I'll be right back. I took a look at your ECG, and there are none of the typical changes you would see with a heart attack. There are still a few minor changes, and I would feel better given your current symptoms if you had further diagnostics and observation in the hospital.
Well, I need to go to the emergency room.
No, I'll call ahead, and you'll be admitted directly for observation.
Does that mean I'll be staying overnight?
Based on your condition and your lab results, they'll decide whether to admit you as an inpatient or keep you in observation for up to 48 hours. Either way, you're going to get the care that you need.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Kovac's wife is calling you. She's still in the hospital and they have some questions about observation.
Okay, go ahead, put her through. Hi, how can I help you?
I just wanted to thank you again. You were really helpful to Jack by explaining what would happen in the hospital, but we have a few more questions.
Yeah, I usually don't see patients in the hospital, but I'll try to help if I can.
They discovered that Jack has a blockage in his artery and scheduled him for angioplasty in a few hours. Well, they are wonderful here, but I'm a little confused about how long he's going to stay in the hospital. The cardiologist was very confident, and it seemed like Jack might be discharged soon after the procedure.
Yes, Jack's history, his current condition, and risk of complications impact how long he's going to stay. The cardiologist may decide before or after the procedure that Jack should continue to be observed or be admitted as an inpatient. Now, keep in mind that Jack's condition could change, so his stay could be shorter or longer than expected.
So I just won't know how long Jack will be in the hospital.
Well, I'm sure the cardiologist is very focused right now on a successful procedure and that you'll know more after the recovery time.
Thank you so much. You made me feel much better knowing how these decisions are made.
You're welcome. At our practice, we believe knowledge is power. Hey, I'm home.
How was your day?
It was wonderful. It was just like a dream.